Welcome to the Deep Dive. We do the digging into interesting sources so you can get the key takeaways efficiently and become surprisingly well-informed.
That's the idea. And today, we're diving into something, well, it's a bit of a classic, isn't it?
It is How to Have Confidence and Power in Dealing with People by Les Giblin, originally published way back in 1956.
Yeah, 1956. So you might think, okay, is this still relevant? But the thing is, the core ideas about human interaction, they really haven't changed much.
Exactly. So our mission today is to pull out those core principles. Giblin identified the ones that can genuinely help you improve your confidence and, well, your effectiveness in dealing with others.
And crucially, without being manipulative or, stepping on people's feelings, Giblin's whole angle is about understanding how people actually tick, not how we wish they ticked.
Right. And he kicks off by hammering home just how vital these skills are.
Yeah.
It seems obvious, maybe, but the stats he brings up are pretty startling.
They really are, like that Carnegie Institute of Technology study he mentions.
Yeah, that one found that, was it 85% of financial success came down to personality and the ability to deal with people successfully.
85%, compared to only 15% for technical ability. That's huge.
It really is. And it wasn't just about business execs or salespeople.
No, he points to another study, this one from Purdue University, looking at engineering graduates.
Okay, so highly technical field.
Right, and they found that differences in their actual technical grades had almost no bearing on their earnings later on.
So what did matter?
Their human engineering skills, as he puts it. Basically, could they work well with others? Could they communicate? Could they build relationships? That was the difference maker.
Wow. It really flips the script on what we usually focus on, doesn't it? Like mastering the technical stuff.
Totally. You can be brilliant, but if you can't connect, well, your impact is limited. And Giblin's very clear. This isn't about abstract theories or trying to fake a personality.
No,
Yeah.
he emphasizes these are practical methods.
Tested methods. Things he saw work again and again in his human relations clinics. It's based on observation of real people in real situations.
I loved his analogy about learning the piano.
Oh, yeah, that was good.
You learn the basic principles, the scales, the chords.
The fundamentals.
Exactly. And once you have those down, you can start playing complex pieces. He argues it's the same with people. Understand the basic human drivers.
And you'll be much more effective no matter the situation.
Okay, so let's get into the first big principle, this idea of understanding egotism and the hunger for importance.
Right, this is really the foundation of everything else. He lays out these 4 facts of life about egotism. Pretty blunt, actually.
Yeah, he doesn't sugarcoat it. First one, we are all egotists, period.
Yeah. Second, we are all fundamentally more interested in ourselves than in anything else. Anything at all.
It's kind of uncomfortable to admit, but yeah, hard to argue with that one.
Third, every single person wants to feel important. They want to feel like they amount to something. It's that need for significance.
And the fourth ties it together.
Right. Everyone craves approval from others. Why? Because it helps us approve of ourselves. We need that external validation often.
He calls this ego hunger.
Yeah.
And he argues it's not just vanity, it's like fundamental.
As fundamental as physical hunger, he says. He uses that analogy of someone literally starving, how their whole personality can shift, become focused solely on food.
Right. Irritable, single-minded.
He suggests something similar, maybe less intense but still powerful, happens when our ego hunger isn't met. We don't feel seen, we don't feel valued.
And what's really interesting is his take on trying to, like, knock someone down a peg if they seem egotistical.
Yeah, he says that's completely the wrong approach. It backfires.
How so?
It just makes their ego more sensitive, more defensive. You try to deflate it, and it often just gets more prickly, maybe even leading to worse behavior. It's counterproductive.
That makes a lot of sense. If someone's already insecure, attacking them just makes them dig their heels in.
Exactly. So Giblin says the key is the opposite. Find ways to satisfy that need for self-esteem in others. Feed the ego hunger, basically.
And when you do that?
Friendliness, cooperation. It just
Yeah.
naturally flows better. He even has this little acronym, LSMFT.
LSMFT.
Low self-esteem means trouble and friction. Just a reminder that when people feel bad about themselves, interactions get rougher.
Huh. LSMFT. Got it. He uses a great historical example too, right, with General Oglethorpe.
Oh, yeah, the founding of Georgia. Oglethorpe wanted King George II's support for the colony.
And he tried logic, philanthropy, strategic advantage for England. Nothing worked.
Nope, the king just wasn't interested. But then Oglethorpe changed tactics.
What did he do?
He appealed directly to the king's ego, his desire for recognition. He pointed out that none of the colonies in America were named after him.
And that did the trick.
Instantly. The king was suddenly enthusiastic, granted the charter, provided funds, even helped find settlers, all because his ego hunger was addressed.
And the colony got named.
Georgia, after King George. It's a classic example of tapping into that need for importance.
And Giblin really stresses this isn't just for kings. It applies to everyone we meet.
Absolutely. Your colleagues, your family, the person making your coffee, they all have this underlying hunger for recognition.
And the powerful thing is we have the ability to feed that hunger, to make people feel more valued.
We do, which leads right into a second key takeaway. The power of actively recognizing people and making them feel important.
Okay, so how do we do that practically? He talks about recognizing people.
Yeah, and he uses that analogy of governments recognizing other countries. It means seeing the other person as a legitimate, bona fide human being. Their feelings matter. Their existence matters.
And he gives 3 specific ways to make people feel important. The first one is maybe the hardest.
It requires a mindset shift, yeah. First, genuinely think other people are important. Believe it.
Not just pretending.
No. He argues the most influential people are those who genuinely hold others in high regard. It comes across.
Okay, what's the second way?
Actively notice other people. Pay attention.
Why is it so powerful?
Because, subconsciously, we know we only pay attention to things we consider important. So when someone really notices us, makes eye contact, remembers a detail, it's a huge compliment. It says, you matter.
It boosts morale, encourages cooperation.
Exactly. He cites the University of Michigan study with foremen, the ones who showed genuine interest in their workers.
Got better results.
Way better results than the ones who just relied on authority or pressure.
And there was that manufacturing company example too, Harwood Manufacturing.
Right. During World War II, they had terrible employee turnover.
What changed?
They started giving individual attention to new hires, making them feel seen, welcomed, valued from day one.
And the turnover rate
Dropped significantly. Just
Right.
showing people you notice them makes a tangible difference.
He even mentions a darker side, right? The criminologist linking some crime to this desperate need to be noticed.
Yeah, that some people might do extreme things just to finally feel like the world acknowledges their existence. It's a powerful, powerful drive.
Okay, so think people are important, notice them. What's the third way?
Don't lord it over people. Resist the urge to make yourself feel big by making someone else feel small.
The classic one-upmanship.
Exactly. Or correcting someone on a tiny, irrelevant detail just to show you know better.
Like his story about the restaurant owner and the accountant.
Yeah, the owner got a tax bracket slightly wrong. The accountant knew it was wrong.
But he let it go.
Right, because correcting it served no purpose other than potentially embarrassing the owner. It was about choosing relationship over being technically right in that moment.
It's about emotional intelligence, really.
Absolutely. So the actionable advice here is pretty clear.
Yeah.
Make a conscious effort. Start noticing people more, acknowledge them, and actively stop yourself from doing or saying things that belittle others. Build them up instead.
Okay, that makes sense. Let's move to the third big idea, the AAA formula for attracting people. This sounds intriguing.
It really is practical. Giblin says there are 3 basic human hungers, and if you feed them, people will naturally be drawn to you. The AAAs.
Thursday.
Acceptance. The deep need to be accepted just as we are. Flaws, quirks, everything.
Without judgment, feeling safe to be yourself.
Exactly. He says most of us don't feel we can be 100% ourselves with everyone, but having those key relationships where we are fully accepted, that's vital for our well-being.
And interestingly, he says the people who give that acceptance are often the ones who have the most power to help others change for the better.
It's true, isn't it? When you feel accepted, you feel safe. And when you feel safe, you're more open to growth, to maybe addressing those flaws.
He talks about wives who believed in their husbands through thick and thin.
And how that unwavering acceptance helped them turn things around is powerful stuff.
He even mentions psychoanalysis, how a key part of therapy is the patient finally finding someone, the therapist, who accepts them unconditionally.
Right. And that allows the patient to start accepting themselves, which is the foundation for healing.
So, profound stuff, acceptance. Now, we probably can't expect it from everyone.
No, that's unrealistic. But getting it from the people who matter to us, Giblin says that's crucial.
Okay, acceptance. What's the second A?
Approval. This goes a step beyond acceptance.
I hope so.
Acceptance is like, okay, I accept you despite your flaws. Approval is actively looking for something positive to like or admire in the other person.
Finding the good stuff.
Exactly. And Giblin argues you can almost always find something to genuinely approve of if you look for it, just like you can always find fault if that's what you're focused on.
And people with positive personalities tend to do this naturally.
Yeah, they offer sincere approval, and it brings out the best in others. We like people who make us feel good about ourselves, who see our strengths.
He tells that story about the psychologist and the boy, Jimmy Craig.
Yeah. Jimmy was having behavioral problems, but the psychologist noticed he was really good at carving.
So he praised the carving.
Genuinely praised it. And that specific, unexpected approval had this amazing ripple effect. Jimmy started trying harder in other areas, too, wanting more of that positive feeling.
And Giblin adds a nuance here, praising the less obvious qualities.
Yes, praising something someone is already famous for can feel like flattery. But noticing and approving of a hidden talent or a quiet virtue, that often lands with much more impact.
Okay, acceptance, approval. What's the third A?
Appreciation. This is the desire to be valued, to be acknowledged as an individual.
To not just be a number or a category?
Precisely. He stresses remembering you're always dealing with a person, not just a customer or an employee or even just the public.
The examples he uses are so relatable. Like when a server remembers your name, or someone goes a little out of their way to help you personally.
Yeah, those small things signal, I see you. You matter as an individual. He contrasts that with, say, introducing your family where you name your spouse but just wave vaguely at the kids.
Ouch, yeah, that sends a different message.
It's about those small gestures that communicate individual value, and he uses that lovely analogy from nature.
The flowers and the bees.
Right. Flowers attract bees by offering nectar fulfilling a need. He says we should be just as generous with our nectar of acceptance, approval, and appreciation.
It's like, this isn't a limited resource we have to hoard.
Not at all. The more you give away freely genuine acceptance, sincere approval, heartfelt appreciation, the more positive connections you build. It comes back to you.
It really ties everything together, nurturing relationships by meeting these fundamental needs. So as we wrap up this deep dive into Les Giblin's ideas, what's the big takeaway?
I think the core message, the one that really endures from 1956, is that understanding and actively addressing this fundamental human desire to feel important, to feel valued, that is absolutely central to building your own confidence and having real positive power in your interactions.
And it's crucial to stress. Again, this isn't about faking it or manipulating people.
No, not at all. Giblin's whole approach, when you really read it, is about genuine connection. It's about recognizing the worth in others and acting accordingly. Mutual respect.
So maybe a final thought for everyone listening.
Yeah, how about this? Think about those 3 A's: acceptance, approval, appreciation. Considering those deep human needs, what's just one small thing you could do today in one interaction to make someone feel a little more accepted or approved of or just genuinely appreciated?
Just one small thing.
Just one, and then maybe just notice what happens. Observe the effect, however small it might seem.
It's often those consistent small actions that build up over time, isn't it?
Absolutely, in all parts of life, work, home, friends.
And we've really just scratched the surface today. Giblin's book goes into a lot more detail on specific techniques.
Oh, definitely. Things like specific communication tactics, building rapport, handling disagreements constructively. There's a lot more there.
Maybe something for future deep dives, perhaps. Exploring those practical strategies.
Could be. His advice, though old, feels remarkably fresh and useful even now.
It really does. Well, thanks for joining us on this exploration of confidence and connection.